Hello everyone. Welcome back to another monthly update for the SOXL Challenge. It is Friday evening, January 16th, 2026. First of all, I want to celebrate reaching a $50,000 milestone for SOXL. I'm sharing my SOXL journey with you so that you can save and invest in any ETF of your choice to become multi-millionaires in several decades. If you're not sure where to start, just buy VOO, which is similar to SPY, or buy QQQM, which is similar to QQQ every week. If you're young, particularly in your 20s or 30s, you'll have a better chance to achieve this financial goal. Watch my short video titled Investing at 20 versus 30 versus 40 to understand more. You can also find some money to invest by watching this video titled 10 Easy Ways to Save $1,000 a Month. Let me take you through my SOXL journey. I started this SOXL challenge with just $500 in December 2023. I initially invested $500 per month, then switched to $7,000 per year into my Roth IRA. Let's briefly review our SOXL performance for the past 2 years. In January 2024, SOXL went up 4%. Then, the total return of SOXL was 37% in February 2024, 23% in March, 5% in April, 28% in May, 37% in June, then -9% in July, -8% in August 2024, -10% in September, and -16% in October. When I started my SOXL Surge Strategy by investing $7,000 per year into Roth IRA. In January 2025, my total investment in SOXL was $14,500. Then, the total value of SOXL was $13,500 in February 2024, $11,700 in March, $10,500 in April, and $14,200 in May. Although it was slow, my SOXL investment reached more than $20,000 in June, hitting $22,100. Then it was $21,700 in July, $22,900 in August 2024, $29,000 in September, then unknown amounts in the thumbnails in October and November. In the last month of December 2025, it jumped up to $36,800. And finally, my SOXL investment reached more than $50,000 for the first time, hitting $53,000. For some people, $50,000 might not seem like a lot of money. However, for me, this $50,000 is a stepping stone toward multi-millions and demonstrates the power of compound interest over 30 years. SOXL closed today at $60, which is a significant jump from last month's $42. It has been a true roller coaster year for us. We saw SOXL peak at $70 back on July 11, 2024, followed by that brutal crash down to $7 on April 7, 2025. The recovery really kicked into gear after that, with SOXL climbing to $60 today. We even hit $62 today, which was the highest price in the past year. Let's examine the SOXX daily chart in detail. SOXX hit the all-time high price of $345 today, before closing at $342. For those new to the channel, SOXL is a triple leveraged ETF that magnifies the daily movements of SOXX, which tracks leading U.S. semiconductor companies. As of today's close, SOXX is maintaining its position above both the SMA 50 purple line and the SMA 200 green line. To be specific, SOXX broke above the SMA 50 purple line on May 6, 2025, and successfully cleared the SMA 200 green line on June 4, 2025. Although SOXX slipped below the SMA 50 purple line 3 times since the Golden Cross, in September, November, and December, it was able to rebound above the SMA 50 purple line each time. It will be crucial to monitor whether SOXX can hold the SMA 50 purple line or at least find support at the SMA 200 green line. We witnessed a Golden Cross formation on July 8, 2025, when the SMA 50 purple line crossed above the SMA 200 green line. The previous Golden Cross occurred back in January 2023. Following that signal, SOXX embarked on an incredible 18-month rally. If history repeats, we still have potentially 12 months of upside ahead of us, lasting until January 2027. On this weekly chart, SOXX has been above the SMA 200 green line since November 2010. I expect that this pattern will continue for many more years. Now let's talk about what's been happening in the semiconductor industry. The first 2 weeks of January 2026 have been absolutely landmark for semiconductors, characterized by record-breaking earnings and significant shifts in trade policy. The sector received a massive boost from TSMC, which reported a major earnings beat and announced an aggressive capital expenditure plan for the year. This signaled to investors that the global appetite for artificial intelligence infrastructure is still accelerating. While the market faced a brief moment of uncertainty following the implementation of new 25% tariffs on high-end AI chips, the impact was largely mitigated by a landmark trade agreement between the United States and Taiwan. This deal has encouraged billions in new domestic manufacturing investments, helping major players like AMD and Intel reach multi-year or all-time highs as they struggle to keep up with server CPU demand. As of mid-January, the industry is officially on track to surpass $1 trillion in annual revenue, driven by a simultaneous recovery in the memory market and the continued dominance of logic chips. Analysts have recently upgraded several key stocks, noting that supply for data center processors is almost entirely sold out for the remainder of 2026. This tight supply environment has led to projected price increases of up to 15%, further padding the margins of equipment makers and chip designers alike. Micron and SanDisk saw strong gains, with SanDisk reportedly soaring 70% in the first 2 weeks of the year due to tight supply and AI-driven memory demand. Despite the volatility introduced by new geopolitical regulations, the overall sentiment remains overwhelmingly bullish. Investors are now closely watching upcoming February earnings reports to see if the rest of the industry can match the blistering pace set by the early January leaders. Now let's review my current holdings. I am not adding new shares this month since I have already invested about $21,000 during the first 2 years of this challenge. Going forward, I am sticking to my plan of approximately $7,000 in annual investments. In my Roth IRA, I am holding 354 shares at an average cost of $24.71. The current value is approximately $21,400 with unrealized gains of about $12,700, representing a 145% return. My individual taxable account holds 525 shares with a current market value of approximately $31,800. Combined, that is 879 total shares worth about $53,200, significantly up from last month's $36,800. My core philosophy remains the same. I will buy and sell based on the SOXL Surge Strategy, a term I coined based on the semiconductor sector's pronounced business cycles. It is a long-term swing approach tied to SOXX trends. Looking at the historical pattern on this monthly SOXL chart, we see major dips every 2 to 3 years. We had $4.33 in March 2020, $6.21 in October 2022, and $7.23 in April 2025. Similarly, we see peaks every 2 to 3 years with $74 in December 2021 and $70 in July 2024. The pattern shows that major dip prices are going higher in each cycle, from $4 to $6 and $7. I also expect that the peak price in this cycle will be much higher, possibly between $79 and $122. Thus, in this current cycle, I may look to sell SOXL when SOXX reaches about $500, or in October 2026, whichever comes first. Of course, this number and timing can be adjusted later. For more details on my 2026 exit plan, you can watch my short video titled The Next SOXL Peak, $79 to $122. My exit strategy for 2026. Despite the volatility, my conviction in semiconductors remains rock solid. AI, cloud computing, and high-performance computing are still in the early innings of a massive transformation. Patient investors who stay disciplined through the inevitable ups and downs will likely be rewarded with substantial long-term capital appreciation. That is your January SOXL Challenge update. We are in this for the marathon, not the sprint. If this update added value for you, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay disciplined, stay patient, and keep building that wealth mindset. I will catch you next month. Peace out, SOXL family.